I'm here with Gavin Johnson, about to go out on the third race. But Gavin, it's not been plain sailing so far this weekend.
No, it's been really frustrating. We've been battling a few issues. We had a bit of overheating that we're trying to resolve at the track. We've not really got what we need to sort that out. And we had a throttle cable go. I was leading comfortably in race 2. Throttle cable went, and that was the end of that. So a bit disappointing. Happy to win race 1 and have a good go in race 3 this afternoon.
Interestingly, though, you're starting at the back, and had you have won the second race with the reverse grid, you'd have still been starting at the back. Yes. So has that changed how you're going to approach this final race?
I don't think so. I think the times are there, so I think if I can just keep my discipline, keep my patience and work my way through, I think I'll do what I plan to do, and hopefully I'll get through, yeah.
Well, we look forward to speaking to you at the end of the race.
Thanks very much, cheers.
So following on from Gavin, here in the holding area for race 3, James Coleman. We've just been speaking to Gavin about the reverse grids, and for you this might work out in your favour because you've been sat behind Adam for the last 2 races. You know where he's quick. Does that mean you can hold him off in those places and keep him behind you?
It's all going to be down to the start here, I think, again. It's been so difficult for everyone passing this weekend, so we're just going to give 3 mega laps, see who we can get past, see if we can get out the front or near to the front, and see how it unfolds from there.
Keeping Adam behind, though, that's going to be the tricky bit.
He might take me on the first corner. We don't know yet. We've got to see how the start is. He's had great starts all weekend. He's been bang on the pace, so it's all going to be on the start.
OK, well, we'll be watching that start very, very closely. It's going to be an exciting race. To go through the rest of the grid, it's over to our race commentator, Jake Sanson.
The reverse grid race in the Porsche Championship. I love this one. Gary Lawrence and Matthew Harris on the front row from Andrew Baker and Kevin Ludford. Christian Young lines up beside Nick Hull, with Jesse Chamberlain sharing his row, the grid with Ed Hayes. Kevin Molyneux and James Coleman on the 5th row, with Adam Southgate alongside the absent Andrew Porter. Lee Bowden is next in the production box there. Then it's Jason Wood, Alistair Kirkham, Hugh PEART and Gavin Johnson. Let's race. What a start from Nick Hull. He blasts up the middle, manages to get past the 25 of Kevin Ludford and Andrew Baker. No problem at all. Yellow flags initially as Adam Southgate has to take to the grass, but a cracking start from Hull, a good start from Ed Hayes as well. There go the superstars of this class as Kevin Molyneux picks his way past the 25, and that's a bit of a sluggish start for Kevin Ludford, and that's given James Coleman nowhere to go. Gary Lawrence out in front at the moment. The 93 is in there. Jesse Chamberlain in 4th. And that is Kevin Molyneux in 7th position at the moment, trying to make his way up the inside. We're on board with Coleman. There goes Southgate, exactly as he didn't want. He didn't want Southgate to take him at the first corner, but that's exactly what has happened. Now he's got to hope that Southgate's going to really struggle to make his progress through the traffic as Coleman gets on the inside there of Andrew Baker. Gets through no problem. We're on board with Baker now as he tightens up behind his fellow youngster in the class, Matthew Harris. Both of these guys, of course, having previously raced in the Porsche Championship in the production category. They both decided to go full fat this year, and they're still getting up to speed, but they're loving the car. Meanwhile, Gary Lawrence leads, Nick Hull 2nd, Ed Hayes 3rd. It's like 2017 all over again, but Ed Hayes is hoping to take a victory on his comeback weekend. Reigning champion gives him a good chance to do that. But Gary Lawrence leads in this reverse grid race. Nick Hull 2nd. He has not finished as high as 2nd. Nick Hull, he's had billions of 3rd places. Oh, careful, Nick. Don't chuck it into the chicken house on the first lap. For goodness sake. Coleman over the curbs as he now closes in on this battle in front of them. But Lawrence is holding them at bay. Nick Hull recovering well in 2nd. Ed Hayes in 3rd as they come off the turn. And down the main straight once again. You're going to see overtakes aplenty, but this is Cadwell Park, so it's going to be very difficult for this to happen. But it's the reverse grid race, so there's always action and drama in this one. It's always, for me, the highlight of the Porsche Championship weekend, the 3rd race, when everything is reversed, and it's up to who's got the best steely nerves into this race. Oh, Southgate drifts a little bit wide there through the run up to Charlie's. That gives a little glimmer of hope to Coleman, but already Southgate's further ahead of Coleman than he would like him to be. Here comes Hull. He's obviously learnt from that moment at Park Corner last time. He's not going to do that again. He's not going to let someone like Kevin Molyneux intimidate him up the inside. However, Ed Hayes is swarming around all over the back of him. So can Ed Hayes intimidate him into a mistake? We're on board with the 924 battle. That's Hugh PEART. In front of us is Alistair Kirkham. So Kirkham is trying to squeeze us. Hugh PEART has done this once already. Took his first ever win in the championship. He's going to do it again! Round the outside! It worked the first time, it'll work the second time! Oh, brilliant! Hugh PEART has done it again. I'll tell you what, he had yet to win coming into this weekend, and he's taken his first 924 win as Ed Hayes outbreaks Nick Hull, gets through to second place and stops the car into the left-hander before he overshoots it. Nicely done from Ed Hayes. That was a tough move into the mountain, and he has got through in his second place, and he hasn't lost a lot of track to Gary Lawrence either. So Ed Hayes is back. He's in his second place. Now we're on board with Kevin Molyneux. We're in 5th position at the moment, trying to move our way forward. Lawrence leads it. Second place is still Ed Hayes from Kevin Molyneux, then Jesse Chamberlain. That is Jason Wood in the 924s. We're on board with Gavin Johnson, who's up to 3rd place. He's going to get a great run off the mountain up to the inside of Kirkham. There's not a lot Kirkham could do except let him go. So Johnson's through in a second. Kirkham is 3rd. Wood is 4th. But still out in front is Hugh PEART, the man with, I have to say, some incredible stones. As I was saying earlier, he had yet to win a race before this weekend. Took his first win in race 2 as Hayes has a look at Lawrence and then gets very snaky on the grass. Nick Hull's going to now get a run on him. He's going to go round the outside. He's going to definitely beat him to the braking zone, but can Ed Hayes stick it to the inside line and keep a good chance? No, Nick Hull's going to shut the door. Meanwhile, Molyneux's going to try and shape it up and move on Jesse Chamberlain, and hasn't made that stick. Adam Southgate's come with him, so he's there in 6th position. Coleman is 7th. This is going to be an intriguing battle now because Gavin Johnson has caught up to Hugh PEART, who finally has taken his first win in the Porsche Championship in the 924 class. But Johnson has won before, so he's going to want to take it as Ed Hayes makes another move up the inside of Nick Hull. Oh, Nick Hull is going to lose this position unless he can keep it together. Hayes is going to keep himself well planted. Hull is going to stay with him, but look, here comes Jesse Chamberlain on the inside. Hayes is through in a second. Chamberlain tries to make the move in a 3rd. They bang doors as they come through, and Chamberlain's got there because Hull had to concede. Nicely done. That was a good bit of racecraft there. So Hull has slotted into 4th place behind Chamberlain. Then it's Molyneux, Southgate and Coleman. Great racing in the Porsche Championship. When isn't there? Every single weekend we get this reverse grid race and it's magnificent. And Lawrence isn't getting away from the pack either, so all 7 of them are still in a line. Lawrence in the lead, Hayes 2nd, Chamberlain, then it's Hull, Molyneux, Southgate and Coleman. All 7 of them in a line down the main straight with any one of them still in contention to win this. Terrific racing at Cadwell Park. It always is terrific racing in the Porsche Championship. If I could hang up my microphone tomorrow and put on a set of overalls and buy a helmet, I would race in this car championship. It's absolutely terrific. So again, Gary Lawrence comes off the turn. Ed Hayes is going to get caught here by Jesse Chamberlain up the hill, but Nick Hull is going to get a better run. He's always very strong at this part of the course. He rolls up alongside Chamberlain. Chamberlain squeezes him under braking. That's enough to stop Nick Hull coming through for the moment. Meanwhile, Molyneux is holding Southgate up, and that's giving Coleman a run at Southgate, and that's an important one championship-wise. Coleman's got a great opportunity now on the back of Southgate. Doesn't matter so much now that Southgate beat him into the first corner because all that gap has been made up. Sat in the queue, there's nothing that can happen other than just let it go as Kevin Ludford makes his move on the inside of Matthew Harris and gets through for position. Good to see the rookies in this category still doing a grand job. Christian Young's trying to make his way up the order as he battles away with the likes of Andrew Baker. So good run there. They come up the hill once again, and this is very, very close. I noticed that Lee Bowden is in that mix as well. Oh, now Nick Hull's really trying to come past Chamberlain. They're all holding each other up as Ed Hayes once again has a crack at Gary Lawrence. He's going to need to go for this at some point, and he is going to look for it up the inside. I think that's the first time he's really made the move. He then has to hang back, though. He's not going to get the move done there into the hairpin. But if he gets a good run off of Barn, we're on board with Hull. Can he get back on terms with Jesse Chamberlain? James Coleman. Coleman slowing. Coleman's got a problem. James Coleman's got a problem. Disaster. Oh no. James Coleman was looking so strong to get a decent finish in this one, and he really needed it. But championship wise, this is just about as gut-wrenching as it could possibly be. So James Coleman is out of the mix. Now that is a disaster championship-wise, and he knows it. So now they're going to have to work their way through. I suppose from Coleman's point of view, he's just got to watch and hope that Southgate doesn't gain the ground. Ed Hayes keeping Nick Hull at bay. Here comes Molyneux up the inside, squeezes Chamberlain, and that's a beautiful move. And Southgate's up the inside as well, so Southgate gets into 5th place. Well, Molyneux made the move, left the door open, and Southgate said, cheers, buddy. I know you've got my back. Not sure he meant to have his back, though. Lawrence in the lead. Gary Lawrence in the 93, still hanging on, being beautiful in his defence of Ed Hayes as Hayes tries to come around the outside. Nick Hull's got a good run now. Hayes is getting impatient. He looks to the left on Lawrence, can't get by. Nick Hull's going to get a chance under braking. Molyneux's going to tighten up. And Southgate's there in 5th position in front of Jesse Chamberlain. 6 of them now all in the battle for the victory. Up and over the mountain. Nick Hull has a look. He can't find space on Ed Hayes, who is being balked by Lawrence. That tightens up Molyneux. Southgate has nowhere else to go but to get closer to his back bumper, and Chamberlain is still right in there as well. A big dive, a late lunge up the inside from Hayes. Hayes has run off the circuit, and now Molyneux's come through. Big damage, big damage. Lawrence is going to try and hold onto it. Molyneux's going to hit him, and Molyneux squeezes through. Lawrence is going to go sideways. Oh, that was Ed Hayes getting so impatient, and he ended up clattering into each other. Nick Hull has just about avoided the deadlock, but he's got damage as a result of that. So too has Gary Lawrence, because he got nerved into a spin there. Hayes has managed to come right round the outside and stop Nick Hull gaining a place. Let's look at it again. Look, Hayes just left it so late. Nick Hull had nowhere to go but into the back of Gary Lawrence. Molyneux then tucks in for the inside, gets Hull, then makes his move on the race leader. Let's watch from behind Molyneux. Look, Molyneux watches Hayes just dive up the inside of Lawrence. He tucks right in, gets Hull, no problem at all. Now moves up alongside Lawrence. Lawrence is trying to defend, and he just squeezes across. There's nothing Molyneux can do because he's already turning in. I don't think he expected that to happen, but as a result of all of that, there's Hayes going off again, but as a result of all of that, Molyneux has gone through into the lead, but that is how close it came. Molyneux's there on the inside, and basically Gary Lawrence, I should say, gets away with that one. It was looking decidedly Mark Lawrence at one point though, wasn't it? But Gary Lawrence gets away with it, but through into the lead now. I think that is, well, who's that that's got into the lead? Is that Jesse Chamberlain that's got through into 2nd place in front of Kevin Molyneux? Sorry, that is into, no, Southgate's beaten them all, so Southgate got through them all in all of that and took his opportunity. Chamberlain's hanging on to 2nd place by a thread. He's sliding around all over the place. Let's have a look at this again. Oh, that's when Southgate got through. He just nipped up the inside of the gooseneck. That's why we didn't see it. So Southgate was initially leading Molyneux. Chamberlain managed to get through as well. So it's all go here. I told you the 3rd race of the weekend is always the most exciting. The reverse grid race in the Toyo Tires Porsche Championship gives you a real knife edge to play with. Chamberlain in 2nd, Molyneux now 3rd, then it's Hayes and Hull. So it's clear that Ed Hayes was a little bit rusty. Now he's going to make his move up the inside of Kevin Molyneux to prove me wrong. He dives for it, gets 3rd place. So very nicely done indeed. So Hayes is through in the 3rd position. Now can he catch Jesse Chamberlain before the end? Meanwhile, Nick Hull has got a good run on Kevin Molyneux. He's going to dive for the inside. Molyneux moves to cover. That's beautifully done there by Dolly Molly. Squeezes him out. Nothing Nick Hull can do to come by. Great defensive driving. He overshoots to the braking zone though. Nick Hull's back on the inside. Molyneux's going to commit to the outside line to hold him off. There was a little nudge. Oh, it's getting so tight between these two now. Nick Hull keeps the car to the inside, but Molyneux's got him for the moment. Molyneux's going to drift wide through the gooseneck. He tightens himself back in through the first part of the apex. That was tough. That was really good racing between these two as they continue to battle away. And somehow they get away with that. That was close. That was really close. And Nick Hull and Kevin Molyneux live to fight another day, with Molyneux in front of Nick Hull for the moment as they battle away in 4th and 5th positions. Behind this now is Ludford. Now, where's Gary Lawrence gone? I wonder if he's had some. I wonder if he's got problems as a result of that little nudge from Ed Hayes and then that clout with Kevin Molyneux, because he seems to have fallen off the back of this, and he was there. So I'm not sure if he's had a problem. We're on board now, further back down the order. This is with the number 28 of Andrew Baker. as he charges after his battler. That's Matthew Harris in front of him. Good to see these two still battling away, despite the fact they've gone up to the full-strength Boxsters. And now they're battling away. Matthew Harris in front of us in 7th place, by the way. Baker in 8th. They've got Ludford in front of both of them. All three of these guys, of course, carrying the novice plate. But right behind us is that man, Christian Young, the 50, who, if you remember, had real problems at Knock Hill mechanically with the car and was really struggling. Gavin Johnson is still right up behind Hugh PEART, by the way. We've lost focus on the 924s because of all of that scrapping at the front. Now it's eased out a little bit. Gavin Johnson is going to try again on Hugh PEART. PEART has won his first race in the championship in the previous race. He now wants to make it 2 wins to really seal the deal of his weekend. Johnson had that throttle cable break in yesterday's race. Without that, he could easily have won it. So now he wants to prove the point. He wants to find a way past Hugh PEART as they go through Hall Bends. Always rely on the reverse grid races in the Toyo Tires Porsche Championship to give you what you want, a showdown. As Johnson tries to get a good run out of the hairpin, PEART is defending like mad. It's like karting, never mind Porsche racing. But Johnson comes off bar. There's still that bit of debris left from that little contact between Lawrence and Molyneux, left on the outside line. But it's such a precarious place that no one could get to it. Never mind that, though, because Johnson's got a good run off a barn. He's going to try and go to the right side of PEART. PEART sends him there. PEART's going to drift slightly across. Well, we're going to hopefully pick that up before the end. Back on board with Nick Hull once again, watching Kevin Molyneux as they battle away for position once more. And Nick Hull tries to tuck in on the inside of Kevin Molyneux to get the place, but Molyneux is well covering it. There's not much Nick Hull can do, but just kind of let him go for the time being. Up in front, Adam Southgate has gone through all of the drama, all of the mayhem, and leads the way here. So Adam Southgate has somehow managed to put himself into the victory. Oh, Jesse Chamberlain's going to go round the outside of Kirkham, and Hayes gets through. Hayes gets through in a 2nd place as a result of it. So Chamberlain, catching Kirkham at the wrong part of the circuit, has to go round the outside. Wasn't really given a choice there. He just caught him at the wrong part of the circuit, went to the outside on the grass, and Ed Hayes said, thank you, that's 2nd place. Now, something is flapping about on Gavin Johnson's car. Hugh PEART's outbraked himself. Can Johnson get there on the inside? He's going to get good inline positioning. Can he get there on the run to the mountain? He's got good acceleration. Surely Johnson's got this. He's just got to keep it nice and tidy on the exit. Oh! PEART was turning in. Johnson wasn't. He was still braking, so PEART ends up having to back out of it. But that's enough for Gavin Johnson to keep the lead, or take the lead, I should say. So Johnson is through into the lead of the 924s in the closing stages of this race. But this man, absolutely impervious out front. How he put himself into the lead just by picking them off one by one, waited for the Hayes-Lawrence carnage to settle, got himself into a neat position when Molyneux and Lawrence tagged. Lawrence is out of the race, unfortunately, we're told, but it's an amazing run for Adam Southgate, who picked it off for the first race win, picked it off for the 2nd race win, and is now going to make it the hat-trick. Terrific from Southgate, and that really increases his chances of winning the championship. 2nd for Hayes, 3rd for Jesse Chamberlain. That's a brilliant podium for Jesse. Kevin Molyneux in 4th place. From Nick Hull in 5th. Kevin Ludford comes home for 6th place in front of Matthew Harris, Andrew Baker and Christian Young. Retirements, unfortunately, for Gary Lawrence and James Coleman, while Andrew Porter is, of course, still a non-starter after his accident yesterday in the first race. A good finish once again for Lee Bowden. He finished behind Christian Young, 10th overall. And then we have the 924s of Gavin Johnson, who just beat Hugh PEART, ahead of Alistair Kirkham and Jason Wood. What a great trio of races here at Cadwell Park, and it gives Adam Southgate a 13-point lead over Coleman in the championship. Molyneux is there in 3rd, in front of Hull, Lawrence and Ludford, with Ed Hayes now creeping into the top 10, in behind Andrew Porter. In the 924s, Hugh PEART now leads the championship, just 10.5 points ahead of Gavin Johnson, with a long, long way still to go in the 2018 championship. This is going to be a great season.
Adam, 3 from 3 this weekend, 7 wins out of the 8 races so far in the championship. You got past James, who subsequently then hasn't finished. You can't really ask for more, can you?
It's looking all right, isn't it? Yeah. That race was just crazy. It was absolutely mad. I mean, it's reverse grid at Cadwell. It's always going to be a bit busy, isn't it? Everyone was hungry for it. I don't know what happened to James. I don't really know what happened. I just remember that I somehow got to the front of the pack and won the race. So happy days. If that happens again, brilliant.
Ed, I think there's one word that can describe that race: mental.
It was pretty hectic from the word go. I got a decent start, and then we were behind Gary for a long time. and it was backing people up so badly. Sort of, I thought I'd have a quick dive down the inside at Hall Bends, but unfortunately I couldn't at the end of Hall Bends, but I couldn't stop, so I went straight on. Loads of people filed past, and then it was just a case of just going for it wherever possible. It's so tight here. It's frustrating when people are moving you out of the way all the time. You just got to try and go for it where you can.
Jesse, congratulations on your third place here in the final race at Cadwell Park, but you were just pipped there on the last lap.
Yeah, unfortunately, just coming up behind the back marker, and went to go round up the inside and sort of won the gap there, so moved to the outside, squeezed to the grass, and stuff happens, and Ed just managed to sort of just pit me on the inside. So, but look, it's our first weekend, and you know, I'm happy with that third. I mean, yeah, second would have been lovely, but we were second quickest in race 2. So, you know, first weekend, first time in, you know, you can't really grumble at that.
Well, that wraps up the action here at Cadwell Park in the Toyo Tires Porsche Championship. We hope you can join us again next time when the racing action comes from Rockingham.